Thank you all so much for joining today. It is a beautiful day here in Oklahoma. I am in Zone 7 in Oklahoma City, and we actually might be getting storms later today, but I was actually like just in the garden just now, and it was beautiful out. It wasn't too hot, which is crazy for like the end of June. It's 78 out there. I was so surprised. It was so beautiful. Um, we're going to be talking all about summer garden problems, and hopefully you all in your garden are growing amazing and everything's going great. But if there is anything going on or going wrong, we will be brainstorming them all together and talking everything about what's going on and how to help, and hopefully like between all of us we can help you all out. So welcome, everybody. Oh no, I'm sorry. No rain for a few months. Ugh. You know what? I wish that was something that I could help with. That would be great if I could just summon some rain over there to you. I definitely would. But we are having our fair share, it seems. We have different issues than you do. So we are having some issues with too much rain sometimes, and then like just sporadic, and yeah. But I'm excited to see everybody here today. So I do want to mention too, I know it says down here below, but we are going to be doing a giveaway. And we are going to be doing a free 1-year premium Seed to Spoon app subscription. So yay! We do this every week, so we do one during the live stream and then also after the live stream. That goes for like the entire year. The entire year. Oh my gosh, the entire week. So that way, if you weren't able to join live, you were able to still enter for a chance to win. So let me back up because I don't even think I introduced myself, but my name's Carrie. My husband Dale and I are the creators of the Park Seeds app from Seed to Spoon. We started gardening back 10 years ago, and we grew obsessed with it, and we were just so excited to start. We knew nothing about gardening at all, and we were just like, I wish that there was an app for that, and we couldn't really find one that we loved. So my husband was like, well, let's just build one ourselves. So that's what we did. We ended up building our own app to do pretty much everything that we could possibly want and more. It's amazing. So if you don't already have it, here, let me pop up a QR code for you. If you don't already have it, scan that QR code right there. You definitely need to check it out because it's amazing. I know, I'm probably partial, but still, like, I am using my app like all the time. I actually was just using it when I was out in the garden right beforehand. I just put up a story because I took a screenshot because I took a picture of a pest out. Well, not a pest, it was a bug, and I was like, I think this is a firefly, but I want to double check. So I pulled up the Seed to Spoon app, pulled up Growbot, and sent it a picture, and it was like, oh, yep, that's a firefly. You're all good. It's actually helpful. I was like, oh, that's great. Yay. So yeah, so many amazing things in within the app. So make sure you check it out. But anyways, we are going to be doing a giveaway for premium. So with premium, you get all of the free features, which you get so many free features. But with premium, you get unlimited plants and pest identification that you can send up. So you can send up all these pictures to Growbot. And then you'll also get free shipping on all of your orders through Park Seed, which is awesome. And then also unlimited plants and unlimited gardens that you can visually log out in your garden. So I do have a winner from last week that for the after the fact giveaway that I wanted to go ahead and pull up. So congratulations to Poncella Hardaway. I think that's how you say it. I apologize if I didn't say that right, but congratulations. You are our lucky winner from last week. So there we go. So all you need to do is just email me right there. I have that up, and then I'll get you all set up. Okay, so let's dig in with garden problems. So like I said, hopefully everybody's gardens are going amazing, but if not, like, feel free, please, like, pop your questions in the chat. Let's brainstorm together. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the most common issues that you may be seeing like this time of year in the summer, and things that I've seen in my garden, or I've seen it from the past, all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. And yes, just a reminder, we are doing a giveaway. So for you guys live with us today, make sure you're commenting, and then I will draw a winner at the very end of today. Okay, so one of the most common and easiest problems is having issues with wilting. So this can be happening for a number of different reasons. It could be from lack of water. It could be from heat stress. It kind of just depends. So whenever I see wilting plants out in the garden, which I do, I go in and first I do the finger test. So I see if it needs water. So I go in and I put my finger in like near that plant and see if the soil is moist or not. And if it is dry, then that tells me, hey, I need to water. Oops, my bad. If it is moist, now I'm not going to go ahead and give it water because you don't want to overwater also, because that could be a problem to begin with too. So if it is moist and you're doing that, it's probably just the heat too, because especially some plants can be super temperamental. I know even like these summer these summer plants that grow like over the summer, like even peppers and cucumbers and things like that, even in heat, like sometimes they will just be like, this is too much sun for me, and just start to wilt back. And you will notice this like in especially like the middle of the afternoon. And if you go out there in the evening, you'll probably notice that they will perk back up and look better. So if you are noticing that happening, you might want to do like either like some shade cloth. You can do some actual shade cloth, or you could do a living shade wall. That's what we love to do, because we love to do like these, let me pull up, like any sort of like trellises like this, or my favorite, these arch trellises, and then we like plant things underneath to give things a little bit of shade. So anything you can do like that to try to give things just a little bit of a break from the summer intense heat in the afternoon, they will be very thankful. Oh my gosh. Harry Warp says my thermometer was reading 149 in midday. Oh, wow. Where you're in California, right? Like, wow, that is crazy. Yeah. So definitely need to do some shade cloth where you are, it sounds like. I would love to hear, Harry Warp, how you go about like protecting your plants from the intense heat, and if you do shade cloths or living shade walls and all of that. One other thing, and I'm going to talk about mulching a lot too, but I do want to mention, I do want to mention too, like mulching will help quite a bit too if your plants are drying out often. Just holding in some moisture to the soil. It also will help just to regulate the temperature in general too. So whether it's just to keep it cool or hot, I mean, either way, like it's just a great protection for the soil. Okay, so let's talk tomatoes. So I know probably a lot of different tomato issues that you can have, and I have many of them too, and I have had like pretty much every issue that you can have, like that I have pictured here, I have seen in my garden. So it happens to everybody, and it you live and you learn. So some of these things you can try to prevent. Some of these things you just have to live with, unfortunately. So let's talk first. So blossom end rot is one of the most common things that I see out in my garden a lot. So this is the picture right here of kind of what blossom end rot looks like. And that's like just the very bottom of the tomato. And this doesn't always just happen on tomatoes. It happens on like squash plants and things like that too. So it's definitely something that can be an issue. But pretty much once you see it on a tomato, that tomato's not going to recover. So I can either, like in this case, like this, as long as it hasn't spread all the way through, I can just chop that end off and still eat the rest of it. But a lot of the times, like I just give them either like to my chickens that I have, or put it into the compost bin, either way. Um, but typically, what happens with this situation is a lack of calcium in the soil. So that happens again. So that is caused typically by overwatering, or if you get a lot of rain, also, which you can't always control, which is usually our problem, where it's like we just get a lot of rain and it just washes out the calcium from the soil. So we get blossom end rot. So some things that you can do to prevent this is, of course, like fix a watering issue. If you are overwatering, just be mindful of how much you are watering and keep it steady and consistent. And then also go through and use espoma tomato tone. Like that can really help too, to balance out the nutrients in your soil. And I mean, there's a lot of things that you can try to do to help prevent that right there from happening, because it's not pleasant. Um, oh, I haven't even heard this, so thank you for sharing. So I found out cocoa core can lock up calcium, leading to blossom end rot this year. That is not something that I have heard. So thank you for sharing. I'm gonna have to look at that. Um, yes, it definitely is really hard to measure overwatering. That's why, like, before you do just go to water, just make sure it actually needs water, is my best recommendation that I can do. And then from there, like, it should be better. Yep. I was gone for a week and we got rain all week. My tomatoes are cracked. Yep. So that is the next most common problem, is cracking. And that is, again, like it's going to be an issue that sometimes you just can't control. But again, if you fix the watering problem, try to at least. But sometimes if you go through and you just are pulling the tomatoes before they are like bright red, and you are pulling them whenever they just start to what's called blush, then you can try to prevent some of the cracking from happening too. And that's still, like, that is a great way. Like I go through and pull a lot of mine out in the garden whenever it is that stage too, and I just bring them in and set them on the counter and wait for them to completely turn red. So as long as they start to turn red on the vine, they'll be good. Yes. So how to add calcium. So, yep. Eggshells is one option, but so eggshells are really great to add in like at the very beginning of the season, but with eggshells, it can take a really long time to get up into the plant itself to try to help. So I generally, like, if you have an active problem, I generally don't recommend just adding eggshells to it, just because it's not going to fix it, but it will help like at the beginning of the season. So absolutely yes. But if you do have an issue, like I would definitely recommend doing like a Espoma tomato tone. Like that's my number one go-to. I can't say it enough. Like I absolutely love the Espoma tomato tone. It is an all organic fertilizer, works amazing. And I go through and add that every couple weeks, and it really helps to keep all of the nutrients that it needs in there, and like yeah, it works perfect. Um, yeah, so let's talk a little bit about this. So they were asking just in time for tomato stuff. So mine is looking pretty sad. Yellowed lower leaves that shriveled, too much water, not enough, can't figure it out. So again, it's kind of difficult to know. So typically yellow leaves can mean you don't have enough like nitrogen in the soil. So again, it's kind of like a fertilizing issue. But I would also be suspicious too, because you said lower leaves too. So I would be concerned about maybe like a light issue too. But I would go ahead and try to maybe like remove those leaves that aren't looking great, and then probably overwatering, and add some fertilizer to it too, especially nitrogen, something that's nitrogen heavy, because it does sound, since you're saying yellowed, um, I'm throwing every solution at you depending on what the issue is. So typically yellow leaves mean lack of nitrogen, but since you said lower leaves, that's what I was kind of like, possibly blight. But yeah, so that's my suspicion too, is yes, it's too much water, and just needs some fertilizer. Oh yes, this is great. So Todd was saying, I found that I have less cracking on the tomatoes when I use consistent drip irrigation. Yes, very true. That's great. um Will eggs crushed into powder give enough calcium for the blossom end rot? How many tablespoons per plant? I mean, that's a really good question. So again, like, this is a I do love doing eggshells. I just know it takes a while. But if you are like grinding them into a powder, I know who to ask. Let's find out what Grobot says. If I ground up eggshells into a powder to help my tomatoes with blossom and rot, how much would I add? See what Grobot says. Yeah. So again, even crushing them up, it does say it will help to speed up the process, but eggshells do take a while to break down and become available. So eggshell powder, add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of the powder to the planting hole. So there you go. Thank you, Grobot. Grobot's always there to help whenever I have a question. Okay. Sorry, I'm popping in. So Trish says, which is best, liquid or granular fertilizer? It's really a preference. So liquid will go and be absorbed a lot faster. I typically I really like things like fish fertilizer for liquid. It's a really good source of nitrogen. For the more like granular, I like the espomas. So um, there's not like a best, because I really like both of them and they both work great, and they're kind of just for different purposes. So if I'm just looking for nitrogen or something along those lines, I will go with liquid. Okay. And then so someone was asking, what is blight? So let's talk a little bit about that. And so blight is when you have any of those, it's a fungal issue that you can have on your tomato. And typically what happens is it will start on the bottom leaves. So that's why when we were talking earlier with somebody that was having the issue with the discoloration down below, like that's why I kind of keyed into that. So it is spread typically by like spores that are in the soil. So if you are like it's so that's why it's the lower leaves. So when the water like splashes up when you're watering or when it's raining or something like that, and it comes in contact with those lower leaves, it can infect those lower leaves, and then it spreads from there. So whenever you have those issues, first of all, prevention is key for blight. But if so prevention, first of all, what I always do is whenever I'm even just planting out tomatoes, I'm always removing those bottom leaves. So I'm not letting any leaves touch that soil at all. And I'm trying to make sure that they are not like anywhere within splashing distance. And I will also put down mulch underneath like every single one of my tomatoes, just so that way like it's not like the soil isn't risking like bouncing up. If I get like really heavy rains or anything like that, I don't have to worry quite as much about it. So that's definitely something that can really help too. So like I said, prevention is key. But if you don't prevent it and you already have the issue, what you need to do is focus on removing the issue instead of treating it, because there is like once a area is infected, it's infected. So you need to go through and remove the stems or the leaves that are infected and dispose of them. Like don't put them in your compost. Don't do anything like that. Just put them straight into the trash. And also like clean, like if you used any sort of pruners or anything like that, make sure you wipe those down too, because you don't want to spread blight throughout your garden that way too. Whew. So just focus on like removing that, and then you can stop the spread too with doing that. Let's see. Sorry, I'm looking through all of these. So yeah, this is. Are there any plants I should not mulch? I know I do. I quite literally mulch like almost everything. Like honestly, I can't think of any plants that necessarily like would hurt to mulch. Now, I typically personally don't mulch like my lettuce or my greens or anything like that, just because I tend to grow those really dense and I like go through it. I just kind of cut a lot like that, and I don't want to get mulch in it. So that's technically like the only reason why I don't. But really, besides that, like I could, but I just choose not to because I've had too many like wood chips like intermixed with my lettuce leaves. So I typically generally just leave those alone. But besides that, yes, mulch away, mulch everything. Yes, exactly. Just like what Todd says, it'll help with more consistent moisture. It'll help protect your plants. It'll help protect that soil temperature, like so many different things. So yes, mulch, mulch, mulch. And then, I mean, this is still continuing on tomato problems too, because I'm sure some of you have at least seen this tomato hornworm down here. So this is another huge issue of people saying like something is eating my plants. So you can have grow. So yes, they are huge. They're like, I mean, technically like the size of my index finger, and it's crazy how well they blend in. Trust me, if you have not seen one in your garden before, you will be so surprised whenever you actually find it, because like they just blend in so well, and which is amazing because they're so huge. But they will take down your tomato plant and just eat all of the leaves, and just yeah, you'll know you have an issue because you'll go out there like even from just the previous day, you'll go the next day and you'll just see like a bunch of tomato leaves gone and be like, what happened? It must be a tomato hornworm. And typically, if you can follow the huge droppings of poo that they leave behind, you can sometimes find them. So yeah, it is crazy, crazy. Um, yeah, they're so hard. Oh man, hopefully you can find them. I have a black light flashlight that is sitting up there ready to go for when I have issues. So I can take a black light out there. I learned that from you guys, and about going out in the dark and using a black light flashlight and going and finding the tomato hornworms, because that's the way to find them sometimes. That's how well they blend in. Yeah. Yes, they are huge, but they definitely blend in. So, yes. Oh no, SmartPots says they're currently dealing with aphids in the greenhouse. For the first time, we bought an army of ladybugs to fight back. I love it. Yes, ladybugs are amazing, and that is like my like biggest advice too. If you are having aphid issues, so this picture right here of the bottom of this leaf is of aphids. So you will see them everywhere. I mean, they're everywhere. So yeah, ladybugs are the best thing to do for them. I love it. I actually just posted a video, I think it was on Sunday, on our social page on our Instagram, sharing that a ladybug actually like eating an aphid. It was so cool. Yeah, it was really fun. We were out there, actually like right out there watching it because we had an aphid issue too, but ladybugs were handling it for us. So if you don't want to release ladybugs, you can absolutely just try to encourage them by planting things like dill, yarrow, marigolds. All of those things are really known to attract ladybugs to your area. So definitely try to encourage ladybugs in your garden. And this is a great point too. Yes, the ants will farm aphids to collect their honeydew. Like it's crazy. So if you do notice a lot of ants around your plant, that's kind of key. You're like, ooh, I might have an aphid issue. So yeah. Yeah, Kelly was saying I never knew you could buy ladybugs. These aphids are feasting on my peppers. Yes, you can actually buy them online, but I actually got some recently too from just a local nursery that we have here in Oklahoma, and a lot of the times, like you can find them at local nurseries too. And I got a pack of. It was just a small pack of some ladybugs and lacewings together. So I was really excited for that because both of those are amazing and helpful. Okay, and then let's talk about the middle one. So that is hopefully something that you guys haven't seen yet. That is the squash vine borer larva that is inside of the base of a plant. So there is a almost like hornet looking moth. Again, I actually saw one out in the garden the other day, so I took a video of it. It's on our social if you missed it, so go check that out. But there's a like it's called a squash vine borer moth that will go through, and it will lay its eggs like at the base of your plant. So they go into like the stem of a squash plant, and they lay their eggs in there, and then these guys, disgusting, will go through and like eat the inside of the stem out, and you'll see like it just start to like ooze out gross. That like it's unfortunately really gross, and it kills your plant. Like it will just take down your entire squash plant. So be on the lookout for those. And again, prevention is huge for the squash vine borers. You can do little things like wrapping bases of your plant with things like aluminum foil or things like that. And also, like companion planting is really big. So things like I actually have a bunch of radish planted around my squash, and it was actually like bringing in the squash vine borer moth was actually on the radish instead of my squash, and I was like, oh, okay, I appreciate that, stay over there. So it was actually doing its job and doing great. So I mean, plant some radishes next to your squash. I love doing things like mint too, which I know I say mint, but I don't plant the mint in my garden bed. I just have it in like a little pot, like somewhat next to it, just to try to help like with the smell. It tries to like repel them away and tries to protect them a little bit. So that's one of my favorite ones too. Some of my others, like things like parsley and dill, and all of those are supposed to be really helpful too. Marigold, basil, all of those I have like surrounding my squashes. Um, so yeah. Oh, good. So Donna was saying I'm trying the foil. So far, so good. Fingers crossed for you, Donna. I hope it continues to work. Um, okay, and then the one up there, another squash one, that is a squash bug. So squash bugs are my nemesis out in the garden. They just they are everywhere. Luckily, I'm going to knock on wood. Not yet. I'm going to knock on wood still. I this is the longest I've actually gone without seeing squash bugs, so it's weird. But what I'm doing must be working with all of my companion planting, because I have been so paranoid this year and really spacing out my squashes like across the garden and doing like at different times and putting a whole bunch of plants around them and all of that. Although I did have some random issue, which you guys need to go look at too, like something like topped my zucchini plant, like completely just took it off. And I was thinking like squirrels or something, but I don't know. It was not squash bugs or squash vine borer. If it's not one of those, it's something else, right? I don't know. Anyways, um, up here we have the cucumber beetle. Now I have seen several of these out in our garden. So these are typically just like the name suggests, after your cucumbers. They don't necessarily like eat your plants, but they do spread diseases. So the cucumber mosaic virus is what these guys will spread, which will kill your plant anyway. So you need to be on the lookout for these guys. So they're not great in the garden. So my kids were like, "Oh, it's a yellow ladybug." I was like, "No, that's not good. Go get it." And they're like, "Ah!" So we were all on the hunt for all these yellow ladybugs. So I think we did a pretty good job of getting them. So yeah. Oh, I'm sorry that happens to your cucumbers. Yeah, it's definitely rough. But I will suggest if you are seeing a lot of these cucumber beetles around, try those yellow sticky traps. Park Seed sells them too. They have a bunch of these like yellow sticky traps that I just like put up next to my cucumber plant. And I always have people like freak out about it, saying like it's going to collect a bunch of pollinators and things like that. But the most pollinator plant pest that I've gotten on there, which I consider a pest, is a fly. But yes, I know they pollinate, but that's the most beneficial plant or beneficial insect I've ever seen on one. I've never even seen a ladybug or a butterfly or anything like that on them. It's always been like just the bad things. So I'm a big fan of them. I love them. Um, what are some prevention greenhouse tips for beginners? I'm currently planning to build one. Awesome. Maybe Smart Pots. I know Smart Pots has a super nice greenhouse that I love, but maybe they can give you some really good tips. I have a bunch of like my like little DIY mini greenhouses that I build, but like I can lift them up and let things in, and yeah. So um I do not currently have a greenhouse. So hopefully somebody in the comments can help you out too, especially I know Smart Pots, I'm calling you out. Hopefully you can give some advice here. So I will say too, if you do ever see issues, just like what Smart Pots already said, is that they got some ladybugs and released those. So that would be huge too. So ladybugs, lacewings, if you can get some of those good creatures in there, it'll help you out. Oh, yeah, this is a great call out too. I've heard if you plant squash seeds inside of a toilet paper roll, half buried in soil, the stem grows up through the center. Yes, absolutely. Would this work? Does the stem need to be wrapped in foil, as you stated? So this is just another version of essentially wrapping it in foil. So this absolutely is another thing that you can do that would work is super well too. So yeah, give that a try for sure. Another thing that I'm doing is not necessarily for the squash vine borer, but for squash bugs, is planting squash next to like a T post or a trellis of some sort. So that way I can try to make it trellis up. And I'm going to be like, so that way I can keep a real close eye if I do get a squash bug issue. And it'll help me keep an eye on the squash bug issue. And it will help all of my helpers that are like in the air flying around look for my squash bug issues too. So definitely trying that out, and it's working good. Let's see. Yeah, this is a good call. So the roll will break down due to watering and rain. So it will only help for like a certain amount of time before it does like disintegrate into theirs. Whereas like your aluminum foil won't really have any issues. So okay, so I did see some comments about people asking about this too already, saying that my plants have flowers but no fruit yet. What's going on? So this is definitely something that I hear all the time of why aren't I getting any fruit? What's going on? So there's a few different things that could be causing it. So first of all, I wanted to talk about like blossom drops. So this happens whenever it is just really hot out. And sometimes like you just can't control that. can't control the weather, unfortunately. So it's going to be normal. Like it's going to happen. You're going to lose some, especially like tomatoes and peppers. I know everybody thinks like peppers love the heat because they're a warm season, but technically like once it hits like 90, 95 at the most, but typically like once it hits 90 even, like they tend to just really slow down. So sometimes it's going to be completely normal that you're not going to get a lot, but don't worry, like just keep chugging along. And you can try some of the tips that we talked about before, where like giving it a little bit of afternoon shade or mulching even too, and just trying to get it through the tough parts, and then it will flourish for you once the temperatures start going back down. So a lot of the times, like it's just something you can't control the weather. So sometimes it's just pollination issues too. So I have a lot of flowers and everything like planted everywhere that I can in the garden pretty much. So everywhere that there was an empty spot or even just like a little tiny space, I was like, I'll toss some zinnia seeds right there. I'll toss some marigold right there. I'll toss basil. Like I have so much and of everything growing out in the garden. So there's so much life. But that's like really the key, is to have like a little bit of everything to draw in like creatures of all shapes and sizes, really. So the more that you have in your garden, like the more varieties, the more colors, the more of everything, it's really going to help bring in the pollinators. Now, if you're really not seeing any pollinators or anything like that, you can go in and like do some like hand pollination and things like that. I typically do, like if I do have an issue and I'm really want to make sure, like you can bring like a toothbrush, or you can go in and like just shake the leaves, shake the flowers around, all of that. But honestly, I don't ever have to really deal with that because like I said, I plant a lot of things out there, and to attract a lot of butterflies and dragonflies and bees and everything. Like, so I have a little bit of everything out there. So another issue too that could be causing this flowers but no fruit is actually too much nitrogen. So I know we talked earlier about the yellowing of the leaves and adding in nitrogen to the soil to help with that yellowing. But if your plants are like thriving and green and beautiful, but not giving you fruit, probably have too much nitrogen. So that can be a problem too. So you do need to watch out for that. If you do get too much nitrogen, and I mean, you can go through and try to balance it out, or try to wash out some of it, like give it a lot of water, or just add in again, like some just focused in on like the flower booster ones, which are like add in like the what is it, phosphorus or potassium, I don't know. I'd have to look up a Growbot, but I always, like I said, I always go with the espomas. They have like the exact like fruiting, they have like it tells you exactly what you want, so I just go with whatever spoma I have, and I will add that to my soil, and it'll work perfect. So sometimes so if they're not fruiting yet, sometimes it's just the waiting game too. I know I am guilty of being impatient too, and especially with squash. I hear this all the time. Like my squash plant has male flowers, but I don't have any squash yet. What happened? What's going on? Sometimes it just works out that way, where you get like the male flowers first, and then the female flowers will come and they'll get pollinated. So sometimes it just takes a waiting game and waiting. Let's see. Any ideas why my loofahs just stopped growing? Still green, not dying, just stopped. That's interesting. I don't know. Let's see what Growbot would say. Any ideas why my loofah would stop growing on me. Still green and not dying. So nutrients. So yeah, again, so nutrients, watering issues, temperature stress, check for pests or diseases. Yeah, so those are all great suggestions from Growbot. Thank you, Growbot. I love Growbot. Yeah, so those are all great suggestions. So you definitely should be seeing growth. I mean, gosh, my loofah, I feel like I walk out there and every time, like every day, it's like a foot longer. Like those plants grow so fast. So you should definitely be seeing it. So definitely try like adding in some more fertilizer. Make sure like if make sure you're watering it enough and all of that. So fingers crossed for you. So fertilize it, give it some fertilizer, do all that. Oh, this is great tip from Riley. She says bone meal helps counter high nitrogen. The phosphorus helps to balance things. Thanks, Riley. Yeah, that's perfect. That's great advice. Okay, and then again, same idea. So just my garden has suddenly stopped producing. So and again, a lot of times, whenever the heat of the summer comes along, it just happens. Like sometimes it just needs to chill and just put its effort into staying alive instead of fruiting for you. So it is, as long as it's staying alive, it is still there and it will recover and it will come back whenever the temperatures are not quite so high and it'll do amazing things for you. So that's typically what it's going to be. So, I mean, obviously you can't control the weather, but you can control things that we talked about earlier, like the shade cloth or living shade walls and things like that. Um, so yeah, it is typically like the heat stress and things like that. Another thing that I would question you about is if it is in a container, is it root bound? That is why, like, I pretty much never ever grow like anything in plastic containers or anything like that. I grow everything either in wooden raised beds, the ground, or in fabric smart pots. If you aren't familiar with smart pots, these things are amazing. I absolutely love them. These right here. So these are just like fabric raised beds. They're smart pots. They are incredible, but they don't let plants get root bound. So once they hit the side, like it just like these, I don't know. Edvin, you're in the chat. You can say exactly like the scientific way that smart pots make it so you don't get root bound. But I will say, like, it's true. And my plants that are in smart pots always thrive. So I don't ever have to worry about root bound plants unless I'm like buying a transplant from the nursery or anything like that. But that's definitely something to look up as well. So, and then also like just towards the end of the season too, it's definitely something that, I mean, sometimes plants die because it's the end of the season. So like right now, like I still, knock on wood, have some lettuce out there. I still have like beets and like some of the cool season things, but they are going to be stopping on me at some point here soon because it is the end of their season. Like it is past their season, but I'm like easing them along too because I do have them like planted next to shade, like next to walls of plants. So I have like a huge tomato behind one of them blocking, like a vining tomato blocking the sun. So that way it's getting shaded and all of that. So I am doing little things that I can to try to ease it along and do all that. And then I liked this. So weird spots or yellow leaves and other scary things. I thought it was funny. Definitely, like there's a lot of things that you can see in your garden, but honestly, like this is why I like Growbot so much and the Seed Spoon app because I can just snap a picture of something weird that's going on and it'll tell me exactly what I need to do and how to fix it and what's wrong, like all of that. But one thing that I wanted to touch on that we haven't talked about yet is powdery mildew. So this is something that happens to the leaves if they are like aging. Like this happens to my zinnia leaves like at the end of the season. It never fails because like towards the end of the season we're getting a lot of rain and especially like overnight. But it also happens like if you are watering your plants like late at night or doing overhead watering, sometimes this can happen too. Um, an easy fix is doing a mixture of milk and water and putting it into a spray and spraying the plant. That is the best fix. I've used that for years. Whenever I have an issue, that's what I do. It doesn't smell great, I will say that, but it works. It works really good. Um, we have talked a little bit already about blight and things like that, but blight again is something that you need to be on the lookout for. And I know we already talked about it on the tomato slide, but if you are seeing issues, make sure you're removing those leaves and disposing of them, so that way it's not spreading the fungal issue throughout your entire plant and your garden too. Um, Also, I wanted to show a little bit of what, so we talked about the cucumber beetles and them spreading the mosaic virus. So this over here is a cucumber plant that has the mosaic virus on it. So that's kind of what you're looking at there with that. So again, I do want to encourage mulching to help prevent splashing and spreading of all of these diseases and things like that. Like yeah, it helps with everything. I told you the theme of today was going to be mulch everything. um, yeah, this is great. So Todd was saying my tomatoes and garlic is browning as well. That is the natural cycle. You're getting close to harvest. Absolutely. So whenever your potatoes and garlic start dying off and kind of falling over and looking pathetic, like that means like you don't panic. Be like, yes, it's almost time to harvest. It's exciting time. So sometimes whenever you're seeing something bad or that you think is bad, it's not bad. It's actually good. So thank you, Todd, for that reminder. Okay. Oh, this is great advice. So Riley was saying I use yogurt whey for powdery mildew. Works great and doesn't stink or leave as much residue. Okay, I'm gonna have to look in that because yeah, I do feel like the milk, but I'm not a fan of milk anyways to begin with. So it kind of like I'm like doesn't smell great. Yeah. So and a lot of the times, yeah. I mean, I think we covered most everything. And also, like, we've talked about like the yellowing leaves and things like that, that might just need some extra fertilizers and things like that. So, um, I will say in the seed to spoon app, it does pull up here. Let me show you real quick where it shows fertilizing. So on here, say, let's go to like tomatoes and I can show you in here. Yeah, so it says every 2 weeks, starting 2 weeks after transplant. So, yeah, I typically do go in every couple weeks with my tomatoes and things like that. But this section is under every growing guide within the Seed to Spoon app. So this is the main page right here. You just go to growing guides and tap on any of these right here, and it'll tell you exactly like what fertilizers you need and all of that. So that way you can continue to harvest all throughout the season and hopefully have no issues. So yeah, that'll help a lot. Okay. I know that was a lot of information in what 49 minutes. So do you guys have any questions or did I not cover any other common problems that you guys are having or anything like that? I tried to cover what seemed like most of the issues going on or that are seen commonly and things like that. Um, and I'm going to pop over and let's see. I need to do a giveaway too because I am going to be drawing a winner here. And in just a minute. So this winner is going to be getting a free 1-year premium Seed to Spoon app subscription. So with that, you can send pictures up to Growbot, which is amazing. Sorry, it's so hard to, I'm running it right now. Hold on. It's so hard to talk and to run a giveaway at the time here. So I forget what I was saying. Oh yes, benefits. So you can send all the pictures you want to up to Growbot, which is huge. It will help you with everything: pest identification, plant identification, along with just a what's wrong with my plant, and then also a unlimited plants that you can log into your garden, as well as multiple gardens you can make. You get free shipping on all of your orders through Park Seed. So that is huge right there. Okay, I have a winner that I'm going into here. Hold on, I have to put it in here. Sorry, there we go. Okay, congratulations to PB Crafton 24. Send me an email at info@seedtospoon.net and I will get you all hooked up with your free subscription. And so, yes, it looks like a lot of you guys already have. I'm so excited that you guys are loving unlimited questions for Growbot. And Paige is loving the free shipping. I do too. Yeah, a little too much sometimes. But congratulations. Send me an email at info@seedtospoon.net and I'll get y'all hooked up. And then, like I said, if you are in the chat right here now and you all want to win, don't forget, like after this post, go back in, leave a comment. So that way you'll get entered in to win again. And I will do another winner here at the very beginning of next week. So next week we will hang out again and we'll chat all about something else gardening. And if you guys have any great ideas for things that you would love to learn about or things that you want to talk about, anything helpful you want to hang out and chat about, just let me know. Pop it in the comments. That could be your enter. Anyways, I will see you all next week, hopefully. Same time, same place. See y'all.